Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and joining with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
Good, good. At the time of this recording, we just ended up wrapping up our last episode of Late Night Chat, which has kind of been our flagship show here on the Late Night Chat Network for some time. That had like a bunch of us involved in it, a bunch of hosts over the years. Chris has been on there a bunch of times. So if you guys have not ever watched that show or maybe missed the last episode, make sure to go check that out in the feed here in our playlist for Late Night Chat episode 300. It's a really fun one. We're all there in person, all of the hosts for Late Night Chat for a few hours there. And we played like a bunch of videos, best of type moments, talked about some good times on Late Night Chat and played some games as well. So there's a lot of good stuff there. So definitely go check that out, guys. But we're back here to talk about comics on our weekly show here, Comic Shop Talk, your weekly comic book review show here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button, that like button for us here. We're over 700 subscribers now on Late Night Chat Network and running, guys. That's right. I think we're about at 704 subscribers. So let's get that count up this year. Let's get to 1,000. So yeah, if you know somebody likes comics, make sure to introduce them to our show here. So we really appreciate everyone who's been checking the show out lately. Today we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of January 8th, 2025. And as always, be forewarned, spoiler warning, if you're afraid you're going to get spoiled on some of these books, we are going to be talking about what happens in them. We're going to be showing off some art, so you can always read your books and come back, check out our playlists. 161 episodes and counting here of Comic Shop Talk. And also, I'll mention it one last time in case you missed it over the holidays, because I know sometimes it takes a while to kind of get caught up on stuff after the holidays moving into the new year. Make sure to check out I think it's our third annual Comic Shop Talk Awards episode that me and Chris did, where we highlighted some of the best comics that came out this past year in 2024. So that was a really fun episode. And we got 3 of those throughout the playlist of Comic Shop Talk. You can kind of look back on certain years, see what was good that year. Maybe you guys missed some stuff. Maybe you're new to comics and you kind of want to know what you missed out on the last couple of years. This is where me and Chris highlight some of our favorite things that we read that year. So definitely go check out that episode if you missed that as well. All kinds of great stuff on the feed here on the Late Night Chat Network. All right, Chris.
All right. Well, cheers to your 300 episodes. Late Night Network,
That's right.
Chat Network.
Cheers.
Well, let's talk comics. Cheers.
Comics. Cheers. Yeah, it's bittersweet, but it's not like we're going to stop doing videos here. And I still look forward to talking comics with you, of course. So at least I had that to fall back on, Chris. I look forward to doing this every week at the very least, because who needs those other guys?
Hot take for this week. We'll see how things play out.
All right. DC versus Vampires World War V #6, Chris, which was originally supposed to. Oh, let's look at that cover. This is supposed to be the finale originally, I believe. There you go. Very nice. That's a nice one.
Nice variant.
Who's the cover artist on that?
Is it Juki or something, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I think they originally solicited this as like a 6-issue miniseries, but it looks now like it's been extended till 12. What do you think of this, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not mad about them extending this to 12. This issue here, it looked like everything was going to come to a head. It seemed to have both sides, just lined up, ready to fight. And then big things happen. There's a game changer that drops in. But I guess earlier in the issue, they're talking about that kid, and is it Miracle Man that can get away from things, or who's the Scott Free or something?
Miracle Man, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it is Miracle Man, yeah. With Barda there, and there's that old lady there that's sort of been popping in and out. You never know who she was, and she ends up playing a big role.
That's Granny Goodness, who's actually one of the New Gods characters as well. Basically, all the New Gods are now in the mix, essentially. That's kind of like where I think they're going with this. Granny Goodness showed up, and I think Orion. I forgot the other guy. The other guy that's all in black is a New God as well that showed up. Not Orion. I forgot what his name is, but he showed up in this issue, and this was cool. Mara in the suit, like what's it, Black Mantis, or what's his name? Black Manta. Yeah, so that was pretty neat.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff happening in this episode or in this issue, and yeah, I'm all for another 6 issues. Like, with the, I guess, spoiler alert, the arrival of Darkseid, it just, our Darkseid just turns everything on its head, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I was kind of this guy right here that shows up, who's one of the new gods. I'm blanking on his name right now, but yeah, he's the guy that sits in the chair. He sits in this floating chair. I can't remember his name. I don't know why, but I figured that's where we were headed because of all the new gods kind of showing up. And Darkseid is like, yeah, he's part of that new gods too. So like the fact that like they're all from Apocalypse, so or at least like that's where Barda and Mr. Miracle and stuff were like raised on right, the Apocalypse. So so it's kind of interesting that that's the direction that they've gone now. And just like I guess Tom Taylor did with that other series where Deceased, they kind of went into different corners of the DC universe, you know what I mean? And they went into space, and they did touch, I think, also on New Gods. It seems like this series is doing a similar thing where we're kind of seeing different pockets, different corners of the DCU kind of throughout the story. And it's a good way of introducing new characters into the mix as the story goes on. So I'm with you, Chris. I can't wait for another 6 issues of this. It's just an enjoyable series. I always look forward to it when it comes out. It's always one of the first things I read when it comes out in any given week as well. So this is a great scene. The art looked great in this issue.
No complaints.
Yeah, good stuff. And your buddy Lobo there is in the mix as well still. That's just always cool to see the main man show up.
Yep.
And good stuff. And then and then of course Constantine looks like he's alive in the afterlife somewhere. And I love the fact that the inclusion of Spectre, Phantom Stranger, and Dr. Fate, as you know, I love these characters. So the fact that they're in the mix now, I was pretty excited by that. And then we get a backup story about Animal Man and how his family has turned, it seems like, and he's trying to like feed them. And they're like, they break free and they eat some people. I didn't mind this backup story, but it's pretty dire, I would say, this one. I was like, oh, holy crap.
Yeah. I don't even remember the story too much altogether, but they can get rid of these stories. Give us a few extra pages of the main story. It doesn't really add all that much to what's going on in the main story. So if they cut those out, I wouldn't mind.
I agree with you, but what it does add is the price being $4.99 instead of $3.99. That's
take away that story and charge $3.99. I'm happy.
I agree.
Happier, let's say.
I agree. Yeah. So what'd you give this?
Yeah, I'll give this a 4 though. I like this one.
Same. Yeah, it's a good time. All right. Magik #1 coming out this week, which with a bunch of banger covers here. Did you get any, Chris? No?
I didn't get any of my Marvel comics this week. I guess there's some issues with, is it Diamond or I don't know, whoever releases it. So
okay,
I'm hoping they're back in there, and I think I'm just getting the A cover because I did try and pull what ended up being a racial variant. So I'm definitely not getting that.
Okay, so yeah, well, sorry to hear about that. Hopefully they sort it out. There's been a lot of distributor issues, so to speak, lately. So yeah, here's the J. Scott Campbell cover, the main cover. Then I got the David Nakayama cover here.
Great covers. Can't go wrong with any of them.
Quite like that one. And I forgot the artist on this one, to be honest with you. I'd have to take a look and see, but I like that one as well in their armor there. So yeah, really happy with the covers at the very least. What'd you think of this comic, Chris?
Come on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm in for the ride, but this is just a 5-issue series, right? This isn't an ongoing, is it?
They haven't said, but every series that they've announced like this so far has been a 5-issue series. Yeah. So like there's other ones that they've been doing that, like Psylocke and stuff has been revealed, I think, to be, they're all mini series. You can't do an ongoing of this. I doubt it. So
yeah. Like as for the story, there's not much to the story. The art it's serviceable, let's say. It's nothing spectacular. The story, once again, are they trying to save kids here again? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, enough of this already. I thought she was going back to Limbo, maybe just taking care of some business down there. That's like you say, we've been talking about this with all the other ones. This story's getting old and it better to lead somewhere. But I'm buying this just for the covers, and the story, whatever it is. It held my interest, but nothing to write home about.
Same. Yeah. Yeah. That's the best I can say about this. And yeah, that's the thing that annoyed me the most about this issue is that there was certain elements of the story that were exactly what we've been kind of talking about lately about how maybe it's not the whole story, but a portion of this story was her helping out other younger mutants, which seems to be the status quo across majority of the X books right now. And this wasn't any different. This even kind of touched on things that have been going on with her in the main X-Men book series, because she's a member of that book, the Jerry Duggan one. So yeah, it really didn't offer anything in the way of like a new story. And like you said, the art was good in some places. I felt like other places, not so much. I'm like you, I'm in it for the covers at this point because there's at least one or two covers that I enjoy from the next two issues that are coming out. So I'll be getting it. And Magik is one of my favorite characters. So I'll pick it up. I'm probably in for the mini series at the very least. But do I think you should run out and grab this? No. It's okay. It's nothing special. So yeah, I was going into that with this mindset already of like, oh, maybe we'll get lucky and this will also be a good series, right? But no, unfortunately, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So what'd you give this?
I'm just wondering what kid's going to be stuck in the Savage Land that Rogue's got to go back to and get now.
All right, that's true. Magneto's in that book too, so who the hell knows, right? I think he's in that. Which I think that comes out next week, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, which I think I also have like 3 covers for it. So. Oh man, what'd you give this one, Chris?
Yeah, give this one a 3.
Yeah, it's 3. Yeah. All right, next up we got Nemesis Rogues Gallery number 5, which is
I'm not sure if I have this on my pull list, but I hope he grabs it for me because this is the end of his run here, I think, or this mini series, and now they're on that Epstein Island,
yeah.
and things just go haywire. This whole issue, it's just crazy what happens in this one. You don't even know who to feel good for. Everybody's bad in here.
Yeah.
And and they just double down on this Nemesis guy being a bad guy. Like you think you think he's redeemable, he's gonna be kind of like a Deadpool type of character where he's a bad guy, but everybody likes him, so they're gonna make him a good guy. But no way, they still make this guy freaking ruthless. And just the things he does in here to his sidekick. First he screwed over his first sidekick, who's part of the battle here. And I think I don't know if there's a interchange between both sidekicks saying, hey, he's going to do the same to you. And this other guy's like, no, no, no. His new sidekick basically saves him at one point. And I guess he owes something to some cult that rescued him or saved him when he after the events of Big Game. And it was to give the heart of someone he cares about, and just the way he's talking to him about it so nonchalantly. Goes, it's almost too bad. The only reason I'm doing this is because I do like you.
I know. I know, it's terrible. He kills him. It's terrible. The guy saves his life, and then like helps him out, and then he just turns his back around and kills him. Like, and then
Wow.
it's yeah, but it's like, who does this guy like, right? But the fact that like the look on that guy's face though is priceless. He's like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Brutal stuff. I agree with you. This actually ended very well. I know throughout this one, you like this series more than I have. I may have even given the worst artist this year to this artist in our award show. I can't remember. I might have. I remember I said something about him. I didn't really like his art. But that's only because I thought the artists in the other Nemesis series were so good, like much better than this artist. Not to say that he was terrible. I think it was just more of a comparison thing. That being said, I thought this miniseries ended on a really high note for me. I was like, okay. And the way it ended, I'm looking forward to more. And there's going to be more the way they left it.
Oh, yeah. I think, his plan is he's going to try and take over the world again. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
And, I don't mind it, like these 5-issue miniseries, you just, if this one comes out next year, I don't need Nemesis every month, but I do enjoy when he's there.
Yeah, this is where he kills his sidekick here. Stabs him in the heart there. And then, yeah, it basically says coming soon, Nemesis Forever at the end here. So he even teases it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's going to be the name of the next one. But it looks like now that he's kind of, after he survived that whole ordeal of big game and kind of now is recalibrated everything, he's got a new disguise. He's out of that, like you said, he's out of debt now with that those people for bringing him back to life. And now he's got his sights back on taking down the heroes, as you mentioned there again. So that's always fun, and seeing this kind of criminal mastermind up against the actual heroes of the Millerverse now. And now he's kind of acknowledged that they're all together. So this should be
Yep.
interesting, right? Maybe he's going to
Should be
use them
good.
as a way to take some players off the board. I don't know, right? So because he's got revenge, right? They handled him pretty good in big game, right? So
But
yeah. So what'd you give this?
give this 4.25.
I'll go for 4 on this one. Yeah, I overall, what do you think of this mini
Yeah,
series?
overall the series easy 4. I could pump it up a little bit, but I'll just take it at 4. There were a few slow ones in the beginning.
Yeah, I liked it a little bit less than you, so I'm probably going to go like 3.5, 3.75 for this, but I thought it ended really well, and I'm
Yeah.
still totally invested in the series and this character. I just felt like in comparison as a follow-up to the last Nemesis and Big Game, this was probably my least favorite out of all those 3, but it was fine. It was pretty good still. And next up we got All New Venom number 2, Chris.
Well, a lot more shenanigans with who the new Venom is. I'm not a big fan of that storyline, but I guess it keeps the story running. But what keeps bringing me back to this comic is the few panels or the few pages they had with Dylan, Paul, and Mary Jane. That Dylan is just chewing that Paul guy up like, oh, it's just that just made the whole comic for me. I couldn't. That's so unexpected from this all new Venom, and I think it's a fun comic. I love the artist. This Carlos Gomez guy. I've been a big fan of what he does, and I think it suits the tone of this comic. And I am curious to see who the new Venom is. I've heard some rumors that it might even be Paul. They might be pulling a whole switcheroo on us, but if they did that, I think that'd be just totally crazy.
That's the only way they could get somebody interested in this guy. You're Venom now.
Oh, and I hope if it is, and they just tear him apart, because they just seem to be having a great time tearing apart this Paul character. And I could read an omnibus about that right now, it seems.
I had a lot of fun with this too, man. I'm liking this series. Like the whole thing with all these random people showing up there, that crew of guys that he runs into. I like how this it isn't taking itself too seriously, this book right
Yeah.
now. Honestly, it's actually a lot of fun. And like you said, he's kind of lashing out there, and the Paul stuff is good. The Mary Jane element of this is good. He's kind of like being a teenager, right? So like,
Yeah. He makes fun of his man bun. He makes fun of his vegan couscous or something.
not my couscous. He gets all like offended, yeah. And yeah, I like you said, we love Carlos Gomez. I've been following him since that Exterminator miniseries that he drew, right? I mean, I'm sure he maybe did stuff before that, but that's kind of what really got him on my radar, right? I really enjoyed that miniseries, and I didn't even read it initially. You read it and you talked about it on the show, and then I picked up the trade. And I was like, this is great stuff. Like I think that this is way better suited to his style than like he was like on Fantastic Four and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think he was a good fit there. This actually works really well, this book, I think, for his art style, honestly.
Yeah, after reading this, I put Venom back on my pull list.
Nice. Good stuff. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun book. I might continue reading it actually digitally if you're reading it. So yeah. Next up, Absolute Batman number 4. I got the Francavilla cover for this one, the variant. Yeah,
that's a great cover. Still not bad.
No, that's a great cover too. Yeah, I like that a lot. What'd you think of this, Chris?
This was another tough one here for me.
We
got to get this Absolute Batman on track. I'm not really that curious about his history yet. I want to see him, do some stuff first, then we can worry about how he got there. The art here, I guess there's some controversial artist on this or something.
So
I didn't mind it. I thought it was good for the story it was telling. I guess it's almost like an origin story, or when Batman was a kid. But as that story goes, that's what they're just laying on the hokiness here. With I don't know, what's he building a bridge or something, and I just wasn't down for this, not one bit.
oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. I actually liked this issue. I actually liked this better, I felt like, than the last couple of issues. Uh, I mean, yeah, it was cool to see Gabriel Walta, the artist on this issue. He's the one that actually was drawing that Phantom Road book that Jeff Lemire was doing. Remember that one?
Yeah,
He that was the last place I feel like we saw his art, which is actually that book's is coming back soon too as well. It just kind of left us there for a while, but I don't know. I kind of like this whole weird shit where he's like he tried to be an actual bat and he's biting people with silicone like teeth and shit like that. These past stuff with him building the bridge, like I get the point of it, but yeah, I don't really care about these like these little flashbacks about him and his
yeah,
father as much. But I kind of like this whole like this is almost like the Batman year one element of this story where you see him like first becoming Batman in this issue. And I think in that sense, like the art style change worked. I thought it was pretty cool. Like I really liked that one page, the splash page of him jumping off the roof or whatever it was. And this whole thing with the RC car was cool. You didn't like this, eh? I've been with you where I'm like, I don't feel like this book has been as good as everyone's kind of praising it to be so far. Like I much preferred Wonder Woman to this, but I thought this issue, I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere, but it didn't work for you, eh? Okay. I don't
no,
know.
we can get anywhere.
I don't know. I for whatever reason I enjoy. Yeah, this page. I really like this page. Maybe it was because I really like the art. I don't know. I something about this issue though I thought was pretty good actually. And then the way it ended, I guess he went to confront his father's killer. There's like a whole Joe Chill
Yeah,
uh thing going on, I guess, right? So I don't know. But I don't blame you for still not digging on it because like I think that this is definitely one of those like overhyped books that doesn't deserve all the praise it's getting out of this launch. You know what I mean? Like it's some of these things like they get so much press, so many people talking about them, and when you boil it all down, is it as good as it all? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's a lot. I think a lot of
yeah. I don't even know who the villain is in this arc yet. Is it that Black Mask, or they touched on Joker? They're just kind of touching on all these things, and there's no substance to it yet. So
yeah,
I'm still down for another few episodes, but it's on the block.
yeah. All right, that's fair. What'd you give this?
Let's give 3.5. I did like the art.
Yeah.
So that story just didn't get it.
I
Didn't
think
do
I
it
gotta
for me.
go 4. I think I gotta go 4 on this one. I like this issue. The art is a big part of it, though. I agree with you. It was nice to see. Nick Dragata is great, but it was actually kind of cool to see different artists on this one. And Gabriel Walta again is not like your regular superhero artist, so it was kind of cool to see him on this book. But there was a few scenes I liked in this one, so I'll give it a 4. 3.85. It's in between.
Oh, 8.5.
I busted that out in 2025. I don't know if you knew.
I might be trying to get a new scaling system on here, but I haven't kind of figured out all the kinks yet.
Okay. 2 thumbs down. That's gonna be Chris. Way down. No. All right. Gonna bust out the Siskel and Ebert days here on the show. Aquaman #1, Chris.
Yep, I think just been hearing a lot about the writer here. Was it Jeremy Adams or something? I heard he's done a lot of good things on the Green Lantern. I didn't read much of it, but hearing a lot of good things. So I thought I'd give this a spin or a whirl and see what it's all about. And it wasn't too bad. I didn't know that Aquaman is trying to learn new powers here, and he's fighting a giant whatever water or kaiju or something here, and it's not bad. I didn't mind the way they kind of started, how they're going to try and what they're going to tell about the story. It's not a story about love or this or that or this. It's just an Aquaman story. It's not too bad. Whether I'm down for the whole ride, it's hard to say yet. But the art's decent and the story is engaging, so I can't really say too much bad about it.
Yeah, John Timms was on art on this issue. I like his art a lot. He's bounced around a bunch of different things at DC. I think the last thing I read that he did a couple of he did some Harley Quinn issues a little while ago, maybe a couple years ago now. But I do like his stuff. And yeah, I'm not huge on reading Aquaman all the time. Like it's not like a title that comes out where I have to check it out. It really depends on the writer doing it. But like Chris had mentioned, he's been talking about Jeremy Adams lately, checking out some of the other books that he's been writing, like Green Lantern and stuff like that. And I noticed that he was the writer on this one. I'm like, oh, he's getting a lot of work at DC. Maybe I'll check it out. And you know what? This was a really good first issue. I think it definitely got me interested to see what happens next. I liked how they talked about like his powers in this. I like how, yeah, it seems like there's some new tricks in his bag there. Like it seems like that yeah, like you
Yeah,
said.
I know got these powers from whatever, like the All In or whatever was the Amanda Waller fallout of that. Maybe he got Mira's powers, and maybe Mira doesn't have those powers anymore.
Yeah, because he's like telekinetic, like he's like moving the water and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So like that's
I guess like Mira used to be able to do.
yeah, so it's really cool. I really liked that part of it. And I kind of like how it talked about, the fact of his responsibilities as being like, I guess, king of Atlantis or whatever, and how he has to deal with all that. And it was kind of cool to see him also like in the whole family setting. Like you saw Mara and you saw that he's got a kid now and all that. So I really haven't really caught up. I caught up with Aquaman in a while now. So I thought as a first issue, I thought this like it gave you everything you kind of needed to know. And the way it ended, it looks like I think that's like also like an apocalypse symbol thing there.
Yeah, yeah, that Omega sign.
Yeah, so this does not look good. Whatever portal he goes into at the end there.
I almost feel like this going to take him to like freaking absolute Aquaman or something.
Maybe. I also like though how like even though like Wonder Woman and Batman like helped like because as the Justice League teammates, they were there to support him. His inner monologue was like, well, listen, they can't really do much out here. Like I'm the master of the water. They're just here for moral support. Like it's enough about talking shit about Aquaman, right? Like I like how this hyped them up in that sense. So you're just like, listen, I'm the man out here. They're just here.
This is my house here. You guys can't do anything here.
I love that.
I don't mind you. Thanks for coming with me, but you can go now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that bit of it. I was just like, it actually made him seem like a Superman type character, a level character. Yeah. He's like, yeah, this is my domain. I don't need your help. I'm just gonna go in here. See you later. I can do this on my own, guys. I like that part of it. So yeah, it was a good first. I might read the next one. Honestly, it was not.
Oh bad. Yeah, definitely read the next one. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, what'd you give this?
I got a 3.75. Probably could get more if I was a bigger fan.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Geiger number 10. I don't have the art for this one. You said you missed out on reading this week.
Yeah.
So this was the Junkyard Joe issue. Basically, he shows up and there's a moment where they're on the road, him and the Knight character. I always forget his name. Like they're driving in a school bus, like because they just escaped that last scenario that they were in. And then all of a sudden, he starts thinking of like his past again and his family. And I don't know if like this guy has like when he has flashbacks like that, it like pushes him over the edge or something. I don't know. So she's driving the bus. And then all of a sudden it seems like the Knight guy's talking to him and he's showing off some books that they were able to grab from that town. And he's like, hey, how about this one? Have you read this one? And he's like chatted with them. And all of a sudden he gets enraged again and like loses control of his powers, it seems like. So he kind of goes back to the back of the bus and he's like to his animals there, that zebra and stuff. He's like, oh no, this lost control. I don't know what's going on. Like stay back. And then all of a sudden, this guy crashes the bus, and he seems like he all the energy's coming off of him, and like the radiation stuff, and he can't control himself, and the Knight doesn't know what to do. All of a sudden, GI Robot, pretty much is Junkyard Joe shows up. And he kind of is like, oh, get back, get away from that guy. I've ran into him before, he says to the Knight. And then all of a sudden, like, now that Junkyard Joe is different, though, he's not being programmed and working for the government. He's on his own now. You could see that he recognizes him and he tries to help him, but like the Geiger throws the bus at him and it crushes him. But then the robot just basically picks it up and like throws it aside. And then he goes over and he actually helps him. Like he's able to do something where it seems like he dies and he uses his hands to shock him back to life. Like, cause the Knight's like, I don't know what to do. Like help me out or whatever. And he goes and he actually revives him. And then basically he's like, I don't like, what are we supposed to do? This guy's about to die. And the Junkyard Joe throws him on his shoulder and they carry him to the nearest town. And then when they knock on the door, that like to get them to let them in, like because it's like a gated community. Somebody jumps up on top of the like the bridge over there, over the root of the like where the gate is, and basically it's like some woman who I don't know if she's been introduced in another of these books that Jeff Johns is doing. I'm not familiar with her, but she looks like almost like Amazonian in stature, and she's like hot looking, and she's just like, yeah, you're not getting in here or something like that, and basically that's where the issue ends. So I'm very interested to see what happens next, because now Junkyard Joe's in the mix. I love this Knight character. They got the animals in tow, so it's just like they're just a group like trying to survive out there. And when they ended on this new character, at least to me, I was like, okay, I got to see what happens next. So it was a good issue. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this one. It was a decent week. Now that we're talking about some of the books, so yeah, good stuff. Next I got Namor number 6. Let's see here. So I think there's 2 more issues of this to go. I'm definitely going to pick up the trade of this. I think I dropped the series just because I don't really need these issues like in my collection, because it is, just Namor. I don't really collect Namor, but I've been reading it because I like Jason Aaron, and I definitely have like the series. This is a really good issue too. I like how both the artists are working together with the past sequences and the present day stuff. And like I said, every issue it's been definitely formulaic. He ends up having another person oppose him that wants to be king of Atlantis here, and he's the one that's basically feeling like he has to step up and be on the throne because nobody else is worthy of doing it, even though he doesn't even really want to do it. And each issue, you see him get into like a fight or a disagreement with one of these people, and they show past something from his past that relates to the problem that he's dealing with now. And again, you don't really see that there's been much growth in this person. Like he's still just as bad as he was when he was younger than he is now, right? So I don't know, like if he's learned much. Like I don't know if that's the point of this story, but like to me, it seems like he was more hot headed, obviously, when he was younger. But now he's still kind of like he still runs into some of the same issues that he's had. And it's just like one of those history repeats itself type stuff with these people now, right? And that's basically what I feel like this point of the story has been, right? And it's like kind of like a burden on like a weight on his shoulders that he has to kind of, because no one else is worthy, even though he is a bit of an asshole and maybe hot-headed and has made bad decisions at times, right? But also he fights like a person that like morphs into like the old King Namor, like they look like the old King Namor, so it's almost like him fighting himself in this issue. And then by the end of it, all of the people that he's basically ran into in these first 6 issues that he's taken out along the way, that's been trying to take the throne, all band together at the end of this issue and basically say like, yeah, he needs to be stopped. We all gonna have to work together to take him out. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Like the way the pacing of the story has been, I think it's going to read even better in one big chunk. So I'm definitely going to pick up the collection of this. And I've really liked it. At the end there, he just grabs the trident. And he's like, okay, let's go. Right. Like they all kind of surround him there in a group there, and all of his past enemies that he's come across in this series. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to the conclusion of this one. I give this another 4 out of 5 this week. It's really good. Then I got Kea 24. Not much to add on this, but this is a big issue in terms of the storyline. Some big things happen at the end of this one. And again, looking forward to the next chapter now. A big game changer moment happened with the antagonist, like the bad guy, the robot character in this one. He basically took out the person that's been giving him a hard time that he's been answering to this whole time, having to chase Kea and her brother. And now it looks like some power was bestowed upon him at the end after taking him out. And it looks like he's much more powerful at the end of this issue. So I don't know what that's going to mean for Kea, if he still even cares about chasing them by the end of this issue. He kind of, he ran off in another direction. So I'm interested to see where that goes. So I give this a 3.75 out of 5. Good stuff. And then finally, Wolverine number 5. I think this is the last issue I have pre-ordered of this. Chris, all I got to say about this one is I think I got the art for this one. This was still not good, but this might be the best issue out of this first 5-issue arc.
Is the Wendigo still there?
Yeah, so it can't be that good, right? So in this one, the Wendigo saves Wolverine. Like, he has to like scoop him up at one point when they're being chased down, and Nightcrawler comes overhead in like the sky, in the plane, and basically picks them up. And while he's on the plane, the Wendigo, like the Nightcrawler, goes to like pat him on the shoulder or something, thinks that he's like he's trying to hurt him, so he swipes at Nightcrawler, and Wolverine's like, yeah, I guess I still don't really have, I've been trying to train him, but it looks like I haven't really been doing that good of a job so far. And then Nightcrawler's like, actually, I think you have been. He actually thought he was afraid for you there, and it looks like this he will protect you like wherever you go. So I don't know if he's going to become an ongoing character in this story, but the way that they're kind of they're setting it up, it seems like he might be around for a while. So yeah, that's a thing now in this story. It looks like this Wendigo kid, right? Yeah, great stuff, right? But what I did like was that he finally figured out in this issue that that it's the adamantium that all these people have in common, whatever's going on with everybody, this like adamantium issue with them taking over their bodies or whatever, and how all the Lady Deathstrike and all these people, Cyber, are coming in and tracking him down. He's like, I don't know why all these random people are coming out of the woodworks. And then he figures it out about the whole adamantium connection between all of them. And again, this is obviously the story that he's trying to tell in his run here about this whole adamantium stuff, right? But there was a couple of interesting moments in it, I'll say, but still not the best. I'll give this a 3.25, maybe even 3.5, because I'm claiming it's maybe the best issue but it's not stopping me from dropping it or anything. So yeah, that's it for me on this series. So we'll maybe check in somewhere down the line when a writer change or something. Oh yeah, and then Prodigy Slaves of Mars #5. Again, this is the last issue of this Mark Millar miniseries. He's done 3 miniseries with this character. This is my least favorite miniseries out of all 3 that he's done of Prodigy. I think the only good one, really good one, was the first miniseries of Prodigy that he did. I think it was the perfect combination of artist and kind of story that he told with the character to introduce people to him. Since that, I don't think he's been able to kind of recreate the how enjoyable the first miniseries was for me. This was okay. I'll give this a 3.25, but that's more so about my lack of interest in this one, more so than the quality of it. I thought the art was fine and the story was fine, but I think if he does more Prodigy characters, this is one Mark Millar property, like a character that he does through Image out of the Millerverse stuff, where I'm not as interested in at this point. So but I, I don't know. I basically read all the things he comes out with, so we'll see. Just because, like you said, I like how he gets in and gets out. Like, he's revisited a lot of these characters now at this point, but 5 issues in and out, I don't mind that, especially if I'm reading some of these digitally. Like, this is one I won't be picking up the collection of, I'll tell you though. So yeah. All right, Chris. Where Monsters Lie, cul-de-sac #3.
Oof. Love coming back to this neighborhood. And it just gets crazier and crazier all the time. You think this granny, the mayor of I don't know, this hell town, wherever they live in, has our hero up on the ropes. He's facing that dream guy, and supposedly, do you know what the guy's name is? Agent, the cop or whatever that's trying to kill all the monsters there.
Yeah.
He kind of pulls a fast one there. He's been kind of had some special training to fight that dream demon, and he takes him out. But they still get the better of him, and they stick him in that Wicker Man thing, and supposedly only like an innocent person could open the door to rescue him. And and she's like, yeah, look where you are. There's no innocent people around here, like miles away, and just all the other things that go on there. That the who's that? The holiday killer.
Yeah.
He's just kind of walking around, and he's still, he's got writer's block or whatever. He doesn't know how to do his Mother's Day killing, and then the idea he comes up with, he goes, "Oh, I'm going to build a uterus, so I'm going to kill the people. I'm going to throw them in there, so they're going to come out and they're going to get grinded in a I don't know, vagina or something." It's like,
Yeah,
what
just
the
like
heck is going on here? And this is like just a casual conversation
yeah,
he's having with his neighbor as he's walking. His neighbor's like, "Oh, I think you're overthinking it."
yeah,
And then I guess trouble breaks out, and that holiday killer, he needs to go get a call to action, let's say. And he's like, "Well, I don't have any weapons. I'm just walking out here for a midnight stroll." And
yeah.
just everything that goes on here. This is a good one. I love the first run of this stuff, and this stuff. I thought they couldn't get any crazier, and here we are. It's getting crazier.
Yeah, I love this series too, man. Yeah, I agree with you. It's still just as much fun as the first one was. And yeah, it looks like this guy got taken out possibly by some sort of creature here in this one. The guy who's the father of the daughter that's married to Connor Hayes. Connor Hayes is the
Yeah,
cop.
Agent Connor. That's it.
Yeah. And like you pointed out, like it's kind of cool. I like how Kyle Starks, amongst all the funny stuff, is still like, and I like how he's not hitting us over the head with it. Like he's making reference to a bunch of like actual horror movie type trope stuff, like you said, like the Wicker Man thing, and like and the fact that the Dream Guy is obviously like a Freddy Krueger type of character, but it's not to the point where like you're looking at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's clearly this character, that's clearly that character, but like
Yeah,
it's just variations of these characters or certain things about those characters that are similar. Like it could be a power base or like something like that. Like and I like how they all exist like within this whole like story, right? Like all
I
kind of
like
make
when the
like
witches got him too, and he's like, "Oh, fucking witches!" And he's like floating in the air.
yeah, yeah. And I love that how that dog, this kid with the one arm from the first story showed up and he gets him to free him out of the whole Wicker thing
Yeah,
and that dog, the demonic dog that he has Cerebus that he has with him and the fact he's like is that so it's what the mother what's that guy's name, the killer that's with him, like the
I
motherfucker
don't know,
or
but he's
something.
like talking to him about it, and then like the great conversation. He's not. He goes, "Oh, don't worry, we're cool though. It's okay."
Yeah, he's like, he's killed like thousands of people, that guy, right? He's like, oh no,
Yeah,
just
he's like, "Oh, we got an understanding."
oh man, it's so much fun. Yeah, it's really great. And yeah, I think sadly there's only one more issue to go in this miniseries, but I hope he keeps putting these out.
Yeah,
If he does one of these a year, I'll be happy because I love these series and he definitely can. He definitely can keep it going. He's not like overdoing it here. He's done 2 4-issue miniseries so far, right? And at the end of
yeah,
the issue, she resurrects like the Michael Myers character from like the first miniseries here, which
yeah,
was the guy I think that killed his family originally. It was either him or Jay. Remember him and the Jason character fought it out at
yeah.
the end of the first one? Yeah. So this woman right like kind of brings him back to life at the end here of this issue. And can't wait for the next one. Yeah, great stuff. Hilarious book. What'd you give this, Chris?
Yeah, 4.25 easily.
Same. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. And we got Kyle Starks twofer here today, guys. For whatever reason, and it came out on the same week. We got another, I guess, mini series from Kyle Starks and Dark Horse Comics. Which I didn't even know this was coming out. I just kind of seen it this week come out when I was looking at stuff to read digitally. And this one's called Those Not Afraid. And yeah, what'd you think of this, Chris?
Yeah, I kind of saw that with Kyle Starks, and I go, "Okay, well, I'll give it a read." I saw it kind of floating around in the space there, and it kind of started out, I guess, with just like a regular sort of serial killer type story. Some guy that I guess I forgot how many he killed. It might be like 43 or 44 or something like that.
They're on a race to 50 or something, I believe.
Well,
58 or something.
this killer had something, and then whatever, he died or they caught him, and then it kind of moves to present day, and it sort of follows the story of one serial killer or two serial cop that's or a cop or not a cop. It looks like it's a podcaster or something that's
Podcast.
following
Yeah.
these two serial killers that seem to be coincidentally going on at the same time in the same town, and their numbers are approaching the record of the previous one they were talking about. And once again, I don't know who these names are, these people are, but there's one serial killer that seems to be a little more outgoing or something, and he takes it upon himself to find the other serial killer. And just when they kind of meet, it's just crazy business. Once again with this Kyle Starks, how he has these serial killers kind of just talking casually about things, and it's I guess it's a bit of the same trope as cul-de-sac, but it just seems to be done in a different way. That still seems fresh to me, at least. I haven't read much of this type of comic, and I think it's great. I goes, okay, well, let's try and have a race there. And they kind of set up some ground rules. And, of course, the ground rules, you can't kill me, right? So funny stuff. And then the way it ends is the one killer seeks out the other killer at a restaurant or his job or something. So it looks like these two guys might be colliding in the near future or something. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, if you're going to compare these two books, while they are both dealing with killers, that Kyle Starks is doing, this one was more entertaining, I will say, but not as funny. This is definitely a darker toned book, I think, than Where Monsters Lie. But that being said, he's still doing it in an entertaining way where you can kind of still have fun with it, if that makes any sense. Like, the whole idea of these two serial killers having a race to see who kills more people or who breaks the record of kills done by a serial killer is kind of an interesting idea in and of itself. And I like the element of the whole thing about there being podcasters. True crime podcasts are a big thing. So that, right now. So that's kind of cool that he kind of threw that into this story as well as an element. And I really kind of like it, but like the violence, when you get to the violence, like this whole scene here, I'll go back. This scene's disturbing. This guy basically walks into a room like of all his like kills and stuff, and basically I think jerks off to this. Like, I think that's what goes on here. I don't know. This guy, he seems like he's pleasuring himself to like the shit in this.
Yeah, like isn't his wife right outside the door or something?
Yeah, but it seems like he gets off to like this is his room of like all his kills or whatever. Like you see the photos and everything else, and then he's definitely got a drop on this other serial killer, because the big hook of this issue is at the end, he goes out to dinner with his family, and isn't the guy who's serving them at the table the guy that he basically saw that he followed into the house, the other serial killer. So that's the hook, is that he knows who he is. So that's why he, like, even when he kind of came across this guy, he was like, oh yeah, this is my face. Cause he's like, take off your mask. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, buddy. Then like, he's like, this is my face with him in the mask. He's like, oh, okay, you're a funny guy. You know what I mean? He's like,
yeah, like, come on, you need somebody to talk to about this.
Yeah.
So many people do what we do.
Yeah. So like, and he takes off the mask here at the end, and at the end there, you see him. He takes he goes out for like some lunch or something, and Buddy is the one that's serving them at a table, and he's like, "Oh no!" So, great stuff. Honestly, Kyle Starks, I'm loving these series that he's churning out. I was like, this can't be as good as Where Monsters Lie. And I was like, you know what? This is pretty good too.
Yeah, good.
Good stuff. So I'm in. What'd you give this?
I'll give this a easy 4. I could pump that up to 4.25.
I'll also give it 4.25. Yeah, this is a great week for Kyle Starks books. Good stuff.
And didn't he do that Marvel's Pets Unleashed or something?
He did, yeah.
Like, he must have been just freaking crying while he was doing that.
Yeah, that's the only thing that doesn't seem like he has the funny, like, messed up, because he did Peacemaker, which I thought was more in line with what he does. Yeah. And same with Lobo. He did that Lobo cancellation special, whatever it was called, right? Which was fun. And I hope that he gets more gigs with the big two, but at the same time,
well, I hope they find the right gigs, not just taking a gig because it's the big two, and he'll take whatever they give him.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. At the same time, I actually would much rather see him write like creator-owned stuff, because at least, like you said, then the cuffs aren't on him. He can kind of do whatever the hell he wants, because I think you're gonna see better work out of him as a result, right? So.
Yeah.
Or give him the Punisher or something. You know what I mean? Right? So yeah, maybe.
Or give him some more Peacemaker. He did great with Peacemaker.
He did. All right, Transformers number 16, Chris. I got my issue here.
Yeah, I didn't get my issue yet on that either. But that's another good issue. I'm just not enjoying the Cybertron stuff so much.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything that's going on in the town, big things happening, big battles. I guess the only thing that's happening in Cybertron is what Cliff Jumper has a jar full of partial sparks that he wants to to load up into, I guess, the Spark machine to get a new Autobot on their side. So that could turn into something. I imagine it will turn into something. But you know how like Cybertron is covered or is under sort of Decepticon control. I'm not really too interested in that.
Yeah.
But the stuff that's going on in the mainland, or I guess back on Earth, big things happening here, and I guess this is the issue everybody's been waiting for. I
Yeah.
thought he would return with a bit more oomph or something. You know, he just it's. I guess it's a soft return so far, but I imagine once he does kind of jump into this world, you know, things are going to hit the fan.
Yeah, agreed. As Chris is alluding to here, there he is. One we've all been waiting for, Megatron. And it's kind of cool because like there's a bird that lands on him that he
Yeah,
basically
Ravage.
he hooks up the oh yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
what
know what he was doing in that one thing. He just seems to be grabbing him and sticking wires in his eyes. And
he I think he took his optical like a
yeah,
wire.
I guess now Ravage is going to be his eyes, from what I
So
hear.
yeah, so now that's why he's got him on his shoulder. I guess he's going to be using him for his sight right now. Exactly. Yeah. Um, the biggest takeaway though I got to say about this issue, I totally agree with you. As I'm not as interested in certain elements of this story, I agree. I 100% agree with you because I was not. That being said, George Corona, whatever, the art is really growing on me, man. Like I know this guy
Well,
took over after Daniel Warren Johnson, but at first it wasn't as good. He's killing it now. Like I really like the art on this book. This is great. Look at this, like even this Megatron look, like the one where he throws the train at him in this
yeah,
scene, and then this one, like there's
and
some
the stuff with Starscream still. Starscream, he's still holding his own. After he had that little 2 issue arc
yeah,
about him, you know, kind of got everybody on his side. And
yeah.
that one thing where like the one guy finds his controller and he's about to fight, and he goes, "Don't wait, what are you doing? Don't do that!" And zoom, he just gets whipped out of the battle.
Yeah, I don't,
Crazy.
we really like those issues. Those were fun. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in more for just like the robot fighting element of this more so than the Cybertron like politics shit that's going on right now.
Yeah,
Honestly, yeah, I'm with you. But the art just sings. It's great stuff. The art he's really grown on me as the artist on this book. I know they've had a couple other people come in for a few issues there. I would be very happy if he stayed on this book. Honestly, like he's
for sure.
really good. What'd you give this?
Yeah, 4 all day.
3.75. I was close on there, but yeah, the art's really fucking good. But yeah, I don't like, you're right. I don't like certain story elements about this, but it was still good. I like Transformers right now. It's actually pretty good. I actually might be liking it the most out of all the Energon stuff right now, to be
Yeah, I
honest.
like it more than G.I. Joe right now, but G.I. Joe really hasn't time to grow
No,
yet either.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. Uncanny X-Men 8, Chris. Gray Malkin. That's
Got
the
my X-Men
solution.
shirt on.
Nice. I like that one. Yeah.
You know, I've really been enjoying this X-Men run. You know, it's starting a little weak. You know, the last few issues, everybody's picking up. I've sort of kind of enjoyed the lead up to this raid on Grey Malkin, and you know, nice page here. Art's decent in this. Well, I wouldn't say decent. It's
Some
serviceable, I'd say.
some places it's good. Some places not so good. Yeah.
But what the hell is going on in this story? This whole issue just freaking killed me. Like you have the combined power of both teams. You know, they're outside of the like. You know, you find out that they've been sort of under the influence of there's another Omega level mutant that's with whoever the enemy is here. And what this guy's just been sitting under a rock while all this has been going on, and you find out there's 5 of them out there now, and none of them, like only 4 of them, or only Professor X has been the only one to come to light. I don't buy that one bit. And then, you know, like I say, we have the whole freaking X-Men team. They have that big splash page with both teams. You know, they're saying, "Oh, we're not as nice as the Avengers." We're, you know, you think you're going to get them see kick some ass,
Mm-hmm.
and they do nothing. Like she goes, "Oh, hey, stop! I got a missile locked on, you know, whatever, Merle, Alaska, and Louisiana, wherever Rogue's team is based out of. And if you don't do anything, or, you know, if you guys don't stop and leave, I'm gonna blow them up." And you're like, come on, this X-Men, they got freaking Omega level mutants galore here, you know. And then Professor X, he's there, finally free. Goes, I think I'll stay here. I gotta do my penance. Get out of here. Get out of town. I hated this issue. I didn't put in my pull list for March, and when I put it in, I scratched the X-Men off, Uncanny X-Men off. I was kind of had some good hopes for
Yeah.
this Professor X thing that's going to be going on during that month, I believe. But I just have no freaking hope for any of that stuff. It's garbage. I'm out.
So I already dropped this from my list. I think this or next issue is my last one. I had already dropped it prior to this, but like you pointed out, going into this Great Malkin stuff, I had said this, I think the last time we talked about maybe the X-Men issue, that was the second issue in this crossover. I said this is the most that the X-Men books have felt like X-Men out of this whole launch. Like some of the stuff that was going
Yeah.
on. But you made a lot of really strong points of some stupid moments in this story, in this issue in particular. Like even things where maybe it didn't even occur to me while I was reading the issue itself. You make a strong fucking argument of why this was really bad in a lot of ways. So I agree with you totally on
Well,
that.
even so, they're just going to take their 2 mutants and leave, knowing that there's still hundreds of mutants being mistreated in there.
Right.
There is no way they would do that.
No, that's
They
the thing
would
that
burn that place to the ground. That's what should have happened.
that's the thing you said. Like the thing that you pointed out there that really stuck with me there is how you said like there's that whole page where they show all of them squaring off against them too, and it's literally one woman with a gun there.
Yeah, and the blob is like, oh, I'm in service.
Oh
Come on.
yeah, with a few of them, yeah, but whatever. Like you said, like they wouldn't have just stood down like that, like they did, especially when they had gotten this far and now they're not under the influence of being against one another or
Yeah,
anything.
and they still end up fighting afterwards. It's like, come
Yeah.
on.
No,
Get
you're
out of
right.
here.
You're right. You're right. It's such a sellout moment in that regard, and they left so much things on the table. Not only did they leave Professor X there, they also hinted at the fact that that other creature that they just
Yeah,
basically
whoever the inmate is there.
is
Like,
in
I
there.
mean, I
Not
read the
creature,
tiles
mutant.
and I read
Sorry.
the stories on whatever from articles about this. When I read the article, it's all contains spoilers for this issue. I read the article, I go, did I miss something? Like it sounds good in the article. Then when I read the issue, or I read the issue already, go, I thought I missed something or something. It was just bad.
Yeah.
I'm
No, I
out.
know. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. I was already out on this series. I'm going to put my hope, hopefully, in the Jed McKay X-Men series now. But I will stick with my opinion that I do think this was the most that the book has felt like an X-Men book since the launch, both of these titles in that sense. But I think I'm way more invested, I think, in some of the ongoing events of the other title. This Uncanny X-Men is so weird though, Chris. We've literally have gone from the first couple of issues, we're like, this might be the strongest title out, to the next couple of issues, this is like the worst title of the X-Men out. And then again, the Grey Malkin stuff starts. This series started the crossover, and we're like, this is really good. And again, it's ending it. We're just like, this is terrible. So no, it's like every other issue of this series so far has been all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I got some coming in February, and then
yeah,
let's see. They'll play it by ear. Let's see.
yeah, no, I think I'm out on Uncanny, but yeah, X-Men I'll stick with. We'll see what happens. What'd you give this?
Yeah, 3.25.
Yeah, I'll go with that too. You made some good points though, some strong points. You really even made me rethink of this one. I'm like, yeah, that was weird. That was stupid. All right, and then finally, Amazing Spider-Man 65 here this week, which is I guess the conclusion of sort of. There's like another issue, I think, of it or something coming out, but like this is almost at the end of this whole Deaths of Spider-Man.
Well, I guess we've got three more of those scions of Sidorak to fight still.
Yeah, I felt like a conclusion of sorts there at the end of this one, but yeah, I guess we're gonna see where that goes. But what do you think of this?
I know. I didn't mind the female whatever scion. It seemed her and Spider-Man or Peter Parker, they almost had a good rapport when they're kind of beating up on her brother there. When I guess he failed his task, and they just kind of just shut him up. And then her thing is, here, you just got to hold on to this orb, and it's gonna take you through your worst memories or something. But the memories they put through Spider-Man it's like, come on, none of them were that bad. Like, of course, all these people are dying, but if they wanted to break them, they should have shown. I think they had an opportunity or a missed opportunity here. They could have, maybe showed what Spider-Man's life would have been if he made some different decisions. Let's say if Gwen Stacy lived, or it could have been almost like a bit of a what if issue. and let Joe Kelly, whoever, I think he was the one writing this,
Yep.
kind of, flex some creative juices or something, or what if he got together with Mary Jane, or what if one, whatever, one more day never happened. But all it is all whatever, you see Mary Jane die in battle. It's sad to see that, and everybody's just dying, dying, dying. It's like this guy's not living in a good space to begin with. I don't think you're gonna break him with more sad stories. And I don't know, whatever turns the tide for him that really makes him break. I thought that would be good if he's just, because I think at the beginning there, after he went through a few of those stories, like, oh, come on, guys, got to throw something better than this. But they don't really throw anything better at him. There's nothing that's really heartbreaking, that's going to make him decide to quit, which he says at the end of this. But, of course, that never happens.
Yeah, this issue is tedious. Like, as I was reading it, like, I was like halfway through and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, can we just end this now? Like, that's how I felt about this one, where I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going through the motions now. We get it. You're going to show us a bunch of bad stuff that could possibly to happen to people, and it's going to make them think, why should I even bother? Because this is life. This is like, people die.
Like, they don't die in like 3 panels too. It's not like, you got any time to sort of get invested into whatever, fake story or fake scenarios being played out.
But like, it's almost like I'm a bit of a pessimist there. I'm reading it. I'm just like, yeah, but that's life. What you're describing here, it happens. Like, it's just like, it doesn't mean that you should stop being Spider-Man. It just felt like very anti what like he stands for in that sense. Like him being defeated by this at the end. You're right. Kind of came out of nowhere. And I don't know if it really rang true in that regard. Like you said, I know it's just going to be one of those moments where he's going to reconsider it next issue, and then like he'll be back to being Spider-Man. Like how many times has he done the Spider-Man no more type thing where his costume's in the garbage and he's walking around.
He walked away with a big Spider-Man shadow behind him.
Right. Which is like,
why didn't they do that again?
That's basically what I feel like he's going for here in a way, but like it has no impact because we're in the middle of an 8-part event or whatever, like storyline that's going on. So anyway, I didn't really care for this either all that much. I'm really just looking forward to this ending, and then I guess Joe Kelly starting his run. That being said, I was listening to something, just a little aside here I wanted to mention. I was listening to something, I think like another comic YouTuber talking about it, and he made a really good point. And something you actually said too, and I think you're right in this regard. He's like, they must have offered Zdarsky the Spider-Man run because the timing of him ending with Batman and the timing of Spider-Man being available was just too good. He's like, he must have been offered it, and after having experienced what he just did editorially on Batman and knowing how the Spider-Man office is, he said no. Right? That
makes sense.
That makes such, like, when he brought that up, I'm like, that's kind of like what we've been talking about, where you've been even
like, he's getting his name dragged through the dirt for this this Batman run, and if he were to come here to Spider-Man and be under, and still be handcuffed,
right? No, because they're notorious,
especially like where he almost had that's what he did, those life stories, right? The Spider-Man life stories.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, and that's where, like, that was no handcuffs. He could kind of do whatever he wanted there. And like you say, it was great stuff.
Yeah. He kind of just took what we've been talking about, and especially what you've mentioned recently about that stuff, and kind of connected the dots a little bit for me. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. That's actually sounds like that's probably very possible, because he's like, he was kind of griping. He was kind of bitching about how the Spider-Man office editorially is also like very like restrictive of a lot of shit going on with this character, right? And then when he compared it to the fact that he just finished with Batman, and we know how that ended, or at least how it looked like his run went off the rails there, and otherwise a good run. I mean, we both thought, in the timing of it, he was just like, I don't understand. Like, Joe Kelly kind of came out of nowhere, whereas Zdarsky is obviously the better person to offer that job to, who's written Spider-Man before, who likes the character and is good at writing this character. You don't think that they would have offered that to him? And I was just like, yeah, that's probably true. They probably did, and he was probably like, no thanks, right? Like,
we should have thrown that line out when we saw him at
I know we didn't get a chance.
We're just walking by. Hey, Chip, did they give you Spider-Man? Did they offer you Spider-Man?
I honestly was going to mention something along those lines if we got a chance to talk to him that day, but unfortunately his line
was walking by there. Everybody would be there. Ooh.
Yeah,
You
listen.
want that of their heroes.
I know, right? Hey, listen, Chip. We do a show called Comic Shop Talk. We need the exclusive.
Quick
Here.
question
Take
for
out
the
my
press.
phone.
Can I get a comment?
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Damn.
Confirm or deny? Were you off with the Spider-Man office contact you?
Yeah. It just makes too much sense. Like, why would they bring this storyline in to bridge that gap? It feels like
Yeah,
of
for a writer that's going to
right.
continue with it. Get out of
Right,
here.
right. That makes no sense. It makes no sense that they would do this storyline following up. We knew that this was a story
Yeah,
that they
just a filler.
yes, and the same writer of this story is writing the ongoing series now. No, that they offered it to him because they didn't have anybody else to offer it. They like
Yeah.
the offer probably got turned down. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
he's probably thinking about it for better, maybe, through negotiations, or, he
Yeah,
might have said what his ideas were, and they're like, whoa, hey, easy, Chip, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do this. He's like,
yeah.
okay, well, I just can't do it.
I honestly, it makes too much sense. Honestly, that whole theory. I think we're on to something. Yeah, I honestly do. So I don't know. Well, maybe he'll talk about it someday, right? We'll see. What'd you give this?
3.5, 3.25. This was garbage.
Same. Yeah. 3.25. Yeah, weird week. We had a bunch of like fours and then also a lot of threes and 3.25s.
I feel bad that like all the indies were, they were good comics, and
Yeah.
the big two just didn't work for me this week.
No, I agree. All right, Chris, what are you looking forward to checking out next week, though, as we come to a conclusion of this week?
Next week, let me see. I think Ultimate Spider-Man's out next week. Looking forward to that. That should be a big issue.
Of course, yeah. No, Ultimate Wolverine is out next week.
Oh, let's see here. Sorry, I have my list up. I'll get that going.
At least I don't have Ultimate Spider-Man on my list. I don't know. No, it's the next.
So for the 15th, right?
Yeah, 15th.
Yeah, I got Ultimate Spider-Man on my list.
Oh, okay, because I have it coming out on the 22nd here, but okay.
Well, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'll probably read the Laura Kinney. Maybe not. Read Storm. Storm's been good, but I think it's about to get derailed. Ultimate Wolverine, if that comes out. The finale of that Avengers Assemble. There's a snake cap that's floating around there, and Rogue, the Savage Land.
Yes.
And that's by Tim Seeley, right?
Yes.
He did some good stuff, right? Was he doing a Local Man or no?
Yeah, he
Was
co-wrote
Tim Seeley and Tony Flex, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up too much for that, but one of them got to be good. And let's see, DC. I'll read Nightwing, Wonder Woman 17. Not sure if I got Catwoman. I think that's it. It doesn't look like it's a very big week at all next week. All the time. G.I. Joe 3.
Yep.
I think that's it for Image.
So I got the Amazing Spider-Man 65-point deaths issue.
Yeah, 65, yeah.
That too. Batman and Robin Year 1, number 4. Batman Superman World's Finest, number 35. What else I got here? G.I. Joe 3, Minor Arcana, number 5 by Jeff Lemire. Yeah, I got a decent sized week, actually. Moon is Following Us, number 5. I got not 1, not 2, not 3, possibly 4 covers for Rogue the Savage Land. I got J. Scott Campbell, Russell Dodderman. What's this one? This is J. Scott Campbell. Why is it showing me 2 here? Oh, one of them is who did the regular cover? Kari Andrews. Andrews, J. Scott Campbell, Russell Dodderman, and I think I also have a Nick Bradshaw cover for this Rogue the Savage Land number 1 coming out. And then so I'll be really upset when it turns out to be shit as well. But at least I'll have those covers. And Ultimate Wolverine number 1. Yeah, that's the big release of next week that I'm looking forward to. So, and then some other things digitally, I'm sure I'll read, like Chris mentioned, Storm and maybe a couple other things. So yeah, that's my week next week. So we'll see how that pans out. All right, Chris, your favorite book of the week here.
Well, unfortunately, it might be just one I have to read online. It's It could be, you know, Nemesis in the running. The Kyle Starks ones are in the running. And to be honest, I think I might give it to Kyle Starks, though, Where Monsters Lie.
You know, Chris, if you're gonna do that, let's go for the two for here. I'm gonna give it to These Not Afraid, his other new series that he came out with this week, because I actually equally liked both of those books. I was only choosing between those two. So if you're gonna go with these Where Monsters Lie, cul-de-sac number 3, I'm gonna go with Those Not Afraid number 1. You know, the best thing that we could maybe we could see that comes out of this is that he tells us these are taking place in the same, I don't know, universe or something. You imagine?
I
Like,
thought it's happening in the same world somehow. Or at the end, one of these guys takes off to one of the compounds or the subdivisions where they live. Ooh,
right.
that would be something.
Which is a thought that never crossed my mind, and I'm perfectly fine for them both being their own thing. But right now, when I even just read the titles, even the titles are similar. Where Monsters Lie, Those Not Afraid. I don't know. It just seems like, I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird that
There'd
they're
be
both
something there.
could be something there. And if not, I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah, I'm going to give the edge to that because this was the newest book he's come out with. And as much as I love Where Monsters Lie, yeah, this was just interesting because it was different, a little different than Where Monsters Lie. And like, he's really kind of showing us that he can kind of do even
Yeah, it's
different.
more of a serious tone. Like it's not jokey like the
No,
Where Monsters Lie.
no,
Like,
but
you know, this is like, you know, there's funny moments, but it's
yeah.
because the material is so dark.
Yeah, it's just, but it's just, that's what I mean. In that same way, it's just as entertaining though. It's interesting how he's able to kind of flex those muscles on both of those. So yeah, good stuff. So yeah, great week. Kyle Starks, big winner of this week of Comic Shop Talk. Yeah, hopefully we see some more stuff from him in 2025. So that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe as always. And thank you, Chris. And we'll see you guys next week. Later, everyone.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.